Hello everybody and welcome to another video for JC Inventory. Today we're going to be looking at how to make items interactable in the Tom Lumen Survival C++ tutorial. So the first thing we want to do is add a blueprint hook into the usable actors in the survival game. So to do that, we're going to open up Visual Studio's project file, and we're going to find we're going to go into source, survival game, public, items, S pickup actor. My mistake, S usable actor, which is the, I guess, root class of all usable actors. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a command called void cpp was used, and we're going to add in a reference to a pawn being used. You can copy the and paste the code from what was above you. And to make this accessible by blueprints, we're just going to have a quick look at the docs. We're going to want to make this a blueprint implementable event, as it can be overridden in the blueprint graph. So we grab that, and we're going to make this into a U function, and we're going to give it a category. Pickup. Okay. Now, we don't actually have to add code to implement this because it can only be overridden inside of blueprints, but we do want to actually make it fire when onUsed is fire. So we're going to right click on use and go to definition, and then nothing to do here, that's a lie. We're going to call CCP was used, and there we go. So let's go ahead and see if we have any build errors. My mistake, we had a build error there, and that's because I had a typo on category. So let's try that again. And we are ready to rock and roll. So this itself isn't enough. Now we're going to go about the process of reparenting our JC inventory classes to take advantage of the interaction system already set up in the C++ game. So to do that, I'm just going to open up my co-op landscape map because I think it's quite pretty and I like working in it. There are those map areas. To do that, I'm going to open up JC inventory, and we'll start with placeable items. So we'll grab JC inventory item and we'll open it up, and I'll just pull it onto screen. So the current parent is an actor, but if we go to class settings and we can change this to S pickup actor. Once that's done, let me just connect. I've connected to source control. So the next thing we're going to do is hopefully we can implement that event. There you go, CCP was used. Okay, so now when this item is used by the character by pressing E, we're going to want to grab the pawn and get the JC inventory core. Now this is an interface function that we set up earlier. From here, we grab the pawn again and run his RPC function, add item to inventory, and specify the JC inventory call to the target inventory. you'll find that all the data we need is actually variables inside of the JC inventory item class. So, source control's a bit upset, but that's okay. So if we go into our demo items now, and let's grab a rifle and some ammunition, and we play test. And something's gone wrong. So that's fine, we can debug it together. So we want to make sure that this pickup actor is... yes, of course. There's one more thing we have to do. This mesh component is now the mesh component we want to use. We can actually go ahead and delete the root mesh from the viewport. Then in the construction script, we're going to get a reference to the mesh component and plug it in this construction script. Okay. So now, yep, items in the world. Can we pick them up? Yes, we can. Look, that rifle went through the world. Sorry if that is a little bit loud. Okay. Just adjust my volume to make the video a little bit nicer for you guys. Let's just play this level. Yep, there we go. So that's all working. That's all working as intended. Okay. So the next thing we're going to want to do is set up item containers. So to do that, and as well, if you want to have these to have physics, you can select them and you can tick simulate physics. In fact, they're set up the same way as all the items in the world, and you've got all those extra options now, which are in Tom Lumen's game, for setting if they respawn or whatever else. To get those options, you will have to override, well, not override, but make some U properties accessible to Blueprint. So in spickup_actor, or you've got respawn pickup, on picked up, and on respawn. So you might want to add in, here you go, U property, edit defaults only. So it's already open to Blueprint. It's just a matter of finding it. Here we go. So it's in the defaults only. I would probably change that to be accessible in the editor as well. But for this example, we won't go into it too much. So you've got all those options there. So that's quite nice. So as I was saying, the next thing we're going to want to do is make containers work. To do that, we're going to have to change JC Inventories Core's parent class. So to do that, we're going to open up JC Inventory Core, and we're going to change its actor parent class to S, not usable actor, usable, yes, usable. S, usable actor. And give it a moment to think. Compile. We'll save that. Okay. So just to go over that again, the JC Inventory Items parent class is a pickup actor, but the container is a usable actor. So, and once again, I need to change its mesh. So I'm going to go to the viewport and I'm going to select the object mesh, and not in the JC item container, in the JC inventory core. I'm going to grab the object mesh and I'm going to remove it, and then I'm going to open up the construction script, and I'm going to grab a reference to the mesh comp, which is from the C++, and add it in there in the item container. And I might also want to go to the viewport and set up the default mesh to be the base container. That way we can test it by putting it in there. We will put some items in it. Let's put some more. Oops. Let's see. Items in container. We'll add 1 ammo. No, we'll add 25 ammo. Yes, JC backpack container. So the backpack containers destroy themselves, or they would in the JC inventory system. That script's not actually needed for this. You'll just want to make sure that you clear that, and maybe even set the visibility of the mesh comp. And the collision to false, because the mesh comp is now the root. So we'll just go ahead and get rid of its visibility and collision. Somewhat of a hack, I guess. You could probably clean that up, but it's outside of the scope of the tutorial, and this will work. And if you're not rendering and it's not rendering collision, there won't be performance overheads. Okay, so we'll try that again. Let's delete that. There we go. And I'll have to put our ammo in it again. And let's go. So I've got this ammo and whatnot. Now I've got this container and it glows when I go near it. And what I need to do now is add in the code that would open the container. So we're going to use our hook again. So CPP was used. Just had to check my notes. So now from the JC item container, we're going to grab this, and from the pawn, we're going to say open container window on client, and the container window is going to be the JC item container. Okay, so let's see how we go. Yep, there we go. So places. Got these items now. So now we've got interactable items, they respawn. We've got crates, they even can be moved around and they still respawn. In the next tutorial we're going to be looking at equipping weapons.